I'm curious about, President Biden saying that those 2,000-pound bombs were used to kill civilians. And now the United States won't allow those bombs to be used or doesn't want those bombs to be used. But we know that all of Gaza is so intensely populated. So is there a differentiating factor in terms of how many civilian lives you'll allow to be killed with those bombs?
No. First of all, we have always made clear that we don't want to see any civilian loss of life. And we have consistently pressed the Israeli government to take additional steps to minimize the loss of civilian life. But the assessments that we make are informed by what happens on the ground. And we are in a very different place today than we were last October. Their weapons production factories underground have been eliminated. Most of their battalion leadership in the north and in central Gaza has been eliminated. So Israel has achieved a great number of its military objectives. So that's one thing that is different now versus then. But the other thing that's different now versus then is that we have watched the experience of those few months. And even when Israel has taken additional steps to minimize civilian harm, we've still seen results that were, where far too many civilians were dying. So we talked about this on some of the trips where there was one in November where the secretary went and pressed Israel to take additional civilian harm measures. They did. They announced some of those. We talked about them publicly. And we still saw an unacceptable loss of civilian life. So when you look at all of those factors, both where the battle versus Hamas stands today, and the track record over the last few months, it leads us to believe that the loss of civilian life in Rafah, where you have a situation unlike anywhere else, both because of the concentration of people and because there's nowhere left to go, because all these people have come down to Rafah and there's nowhere for them to go now, it leads us to believe that the results would be disastrous from a civilian harm perspective.